Now, this was a piece of news that I wanted to cover, but I figured I'd wait until I complete the Transformers Cyberverse series before I do that. And I have as of this moment. Now, this news is something pertaining to the future of the Cyberverse series, and I'm not going to get into spoilers just yet in this segment, so I'll give you a warning when I jump into that. If you're someone that's interested in watching Cyberverse in its entirety, it is aired completely in the United Kingdom, and links have already surfaced online to watch every single episode of the series right to the end of season 3. I'm not going to link directly, but let's just say if you go on TFW 2005 and look for a certain thread in the Cyberverse section, you will be able to find everything you need just there. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That being said, a post was done by Ehud Landsberg, the series director of Transformers Cyberverse, and he pretty much said in his post, the trailer for the third and final season of Transformers Cyberverse is finally out. Very happy and proud to have the privilege of directing this season along with Gene Texter and Marco Caradona. And pretty much what this confirmed is that this will be the last season of Transformers Cyberverse as they move into a new era of Transformers storytelling with Netflix and the War for Cybertron Siege series, which is already confirmed to consist of 6 episodes and each one being 22 minutes, returning to the normal runtime format of cartoons, and that'll be for the first season. We don't have a date yet for that. So pretty much it confirms that Cyberverse is over. Now, the impact of this statement isn't that harsh until you really see what is the grand scheme of it and watching the series to its entirety. So if you have not watched it, I suggest kind of stopping the video right here, go watch the series and come back and we could continue this conversation. But I kind of want to get off my chest my feelings about the series as a whole and it ending the way it does. So if you haven't heard it, if you haven't watched it, go now. Otherwise, let's jump into spoilers. So, now that everything's said and done, I'm kind of, unfortunately, a little disappointed as the final product. There was a lot of really, really, really enjoyable moments I've had with this series. I know that me and Jaws D, when we were first reviewing it episode by episode before Hasbro said, hey, stop that, we were pretty much enjoying what we got. It was Chapter 1, Season 1 in 2008 was kind of cookie cutter. I had my reserves about how the way that the pace of the series was being done by it being a 10-minute format per episode. And considering that the way the Season 1 episodes were done, it was very reliant on getting the momentum back up, telling the bulk of the story, and then having a conclusion of the episode. And I kind of was questionable about that because I was like, oh, I'm not really feeling it. The way that stories are being told very quickly. And then they slowly started to get into this groove where it almost acted like it was an entire episode cut into multiple parts, where you could almost tell, instead of it being the end of an episode, it almost felt like a commercial break. And then when the episode would start up again, when you move on to the next episode, it felt like you were just picking up where the commercial break left off. And it started to get that vibe. And I almost feel like that this series was created in a format that was 22-minute episodes and then kind of was cut down to make it just seem like more. And it's funny because when you add up everything, because Season 1 was 18 episodes, Season 2, I guess Chapter 2 as they call it, was 18 episodes, and Season 3 was 26 episodes, which gives you a grand total of 62. If you divide that by 2, give it, let's say, give or take a 22-minute runtime, that means the entire series, let's say that it was a full 22-minute episode runtime, that means this entire series would have only been 31 episodes, which is less than, let's say, Beast Wars Season 1. Which is kind of crazy when you think about it, that the entire span of everything that we've watched thus far, if these episodes were kind of bunched together in 22-minute formats, we'd only have 31 episodes. Isn't that nuts? Isn't that crazy when you think about it? But it is what it is. It really is what it is when you think about it. So the way that I see it, more than anything else, is that we should really not judge it by what it could have been, but judge it by what it is. And because that's the one thing, is that there were so much signs of really good stuff here. The second we got into season 2 and Bumblebee got his voice back and we didn't have to deal with that anymore, it started to really get its momentum. It really did. We were introduced to a lot of interesting characters and dynamics and new looks and takes on the series. And by the time we got to season 3, a lot of stuff really interested me there. Specifically, by the time we got to episode 5 of season 3, The Loop, and again, it's people who know me very well are gonna be like, well, it's because it was Hot Rod and that's why you love it. I agree, but I like the idea that it was a darker story. There was this whole almost like Matrix kind of surviving against, the Overmind kind of thing going on there. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. And I found that almost when Optimus and the crew came back, I almost felt like we were getting back to episodic storytelling. And it's crazy that when you start watching the show, knowing that the last episode is coming, and you see that literally up until the last episode, everything was an episodic format. It was just like, hey, here's an adventure, and that adventure's done. Oh, and maybe we're collecting Windblade pieces. I'm not too sure. It seemed like that was the MacGuffin for this season, was like, oh, we got to collect the pieces of Windblade, and then it kind of just got lost in that. And then they ended up only finding 4 pieces, unless some were found off air and we weren't really shown properly. But I don't know. I felt that they were kind of maybe rushed to a conclusion, and there was more that could have been told here that wasn't, unfortunately. And it's sad. It is kind of sad when you think about it, that it could have been something more. It really could have. I get this almost Transformers animated vibe, where I think that we need more. We would have, in animated, we wanted a season 4. And I think with this, especially with the way the last episode just kind of abruptly ends, I feel that there was still more of a story to tell. Covering all this, the multiverse and the destruction of the Matrix. They don't even, the Matrix is destroyed. We're kind of told as an audience that this is a bad thing, and we don't really see the repercussion of that. It's just kind of oh, we destroyed the Matrix. Hey, everyone's fine. Hey, welcome back, Windblade. End credits. And it was just wow, okay. All right. Again, I dig what they did do, but I really feel that there was a lot more that could have been done. The characters that we were told to be excited about, like Thunder Howl, Wild Wheel, Meteor Strike, even Iaconus, kind of all were really played down to one episode and then either shoveled into the background or just gone completely. And that's a shame. And that's a real shame, because new faces, new characters that we could have really enjoyed and fleshed out more to use for the future, and that wasn't the case. And it sucks, because even a guy like Thunder Howl, where some people were watching and going, it's just Silverbolt from Beast Wars. And yeah, hey, but at least it's kind of a new character. It's a new take. It's a different Silverbolt. And I would have liked to see a little more of that. Unfortunately, we really didn't. A character like Wild Wheel, that was a really fun character, really, Western kind of, good, the bad and ugly, blondie kind of take. Would have loved to have more outside of his one episode that he was featured in, and then he just kind of shuffled again into the background, used very sparingly. So it's a shame. It's a shame. I think that more than anything, at least I could say this, it was the Transformers series with the most Cybertronian language in the background, where you could just kind of pause and start translating things and reading all kinds of weird stuff that the creators put for the audience to, I guess, translate. We had a really good small little Quintesson arc in season 3 with Dark Hot Rod, as they called him. But otherwise, I don't know, missed opportunities in a lot of different places. And kind of a shame in the end, because I really liked it. I really liked it a lot, but I think that there was still so much more to tell, and we didn't get a chance to really do that. Even the Quintessons, they just kind of we flipped the switch and they were gone, and then that was out of the story. So it is a shame, but again, it's something that, like I said, if you condense this into 22-minute episodes, it literally gives us barely something of a standard season in terms of content. So we were rushed from day one in 2008, 2 years ago. They hit the ground running, and we got to tell a story quickly and then get to credits. And I hope that with this new Siege series, granted, the sad thing with Siege series is it's a 22-minute episode, but we only have 6 of them, which is, again, it's us going like, man, that's not a lot of time to tell a story. I'm just hoping that they do a good job. I really do. Because even then, if they would have done it in the 10-minute format that now we're familiar with here with Cyberverse, that would have only gave us 12 episodes, which is, I guess, a standard mini season. I don't know. I really long for the days of full, let's say 13 to 16 episode seasons, or even 18 episode seasons that were 22 minutes long, that we could at least flesh out a character, at least flesh out a story arc, an ongoing story arc. But the way that the storytelling is done right now is kind of bizarre. And I'm just hoping, I'm really just hoping that the Siege series does a very good job, but I won't judge it until I see it. The trailers tell us one thing, we could be excited, but I will not judge it till I see it. And Cyberverse, unfortunately, as a whole of a series, in the grand scheme of things, comparing it to all the Transformers series that have come before and the ones that were not that great. And I feel like almost Cyberverse, I don't want to say this, but I almost feel like Cyberverse falls into that Superlink Energon category, where it falls into that where it's like, hey, kind of great toys, great designs, unlimited potential for story, drops the ball in all those areas. A lot of plot holes, a lot of story that just happens off screen and you just got to take their word for it. And it's a shame, because just like how Superlink aka Energon, had a lot of fun characters, fun designs, fun toys, and just a great concept, and oddly enough, also a Quintesson involved in it, just kind of dropped the ball. And it's kind of the same thing here, where I liked Season 3. Season 3 was really fun. Season 2 really got the ball rolling. But for it all kind of just to be rushed to the end, and a lot of unresolved questions and stuff like that, I don't know. I maybe I need to sit on this more, maybe rewatch it all again. But as it stands right now, I don't know. I give Cyberverse a solid 7 out of 10. There has been better. And hopefully in the future for Transformers and the storytelling of our product, that we will get better. And maybe that'll be Siege, but maybe not. We shall see. Let me know what you think about Cyberverse, because maybe I'm off on this one, but it's just a personal opinion.